Back here in Orlando, 0-0 between the Pride and the Thorns. And in 3 weeks, October 14th, an NWSL champion will be crowned on this very field. And you can see it for just $20. Tickets are on sale right now. Game will be 4:30 Eastern Time, October 14th, of course, here on Lifetime. For more information, log on to NWSLchampionship.com. Now to Jen and Allie with a very special guest.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dallin. U.S. Women's National Team head coach Jill Ellis, kind enough to stop by, join us in the booth. So you know I'm going to make you work just a little bit. You were telling us before we came on.
If I get your salary, I'll be good.
I think you're doing all right. What do you take of the first half here? You're the coach. Give us the coach's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's two teams feeling themselves out. I mean, I think Portland grew in the game. I think both teams had some success when they found those wide areas, and now it's just the quality of the balls that they get into the box. But obviously, Orlando's got to push hard for a point here. So, you know, I think it's going to be an interesting second half. But again, I mean, two teams, two quality teams, moments of really good stuff, and then obviously moments of some lapses. But excited for the second half.
Maybe you should take my job. I don't know. I want to talk about the NWSL in general. You've pulled from a big group of players. How important is it to you to have this ability to evaluate and broaden the pool of players?
Well, the league has been fantastic this year. I mean, we've brought in, you know, players like Taylor Smith and Rose, and players just coming out of the college ranks and now getting, you know, professional full-time exposure into the pro ranks. I think it's been great. I mean, I think the quality also this year, I think the level is continuing to grow in the league. But I mean, for us, it is the feeder system. And, you know, again, we brought a lot of good players in this year and have been able to look at a lot of players.
Right, and what's the next phase for the U.S. team? You said you're done exploring. Now what is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've had, I don't know, close to probably 60 players in over the course of the last couple of years. And so now as we start to move into 2018, it really is about building the cohesion and the chemistry, focusing on our system, focusing more on ourselves as we start to build towards World Cup qualifiers in October.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we certainly look forward to watching it. We thank you for joining us here and taking this match in.
No worries.
And we'll be back with more from the half, including first half highlights and Allie's breakdown when we come back. You're watching the NWSL on Lifetime.
It's a massive game in the National Women's Soccer League.
Sinclair!
We need to make it to the finals and we need to win.
Where's the whistle left?
I am inspired by the thought of fulfilling this dream.
Balls for Mewis! Oh, and it sneaks in!
The NWSL Championship, it's up for grabs.
No team wants to go down without a fight.
Dear Fresh Pet, I've got 5 boys. Rudy's the youngest. But when he got older, he suddenly stopped eating. After a few days, he was too weak to stand. Then we found Fresh Pet. The dog who wouldn't eat cleaned his bowl. Now Rudy's 13 and going on 3.
Welcome back to Orlando City Stadium. It is halftime, but no score yet between the Orlando Pride and the Portland Thorns in this one. And in this match, Orlando with a chance, Allie, to get their spot in the playoffs with a win. We know Portland's already in. They're hosting, but nobody able to break through so far.
No, but it's been Orlando pushing and pushing and pushing. I think they had the better run of play in the first half and created more chances. The problem, and we're seeing it here, was that Portland was getting a lot of numbers back centrally, and it was making it difficult for Orlando to break down. So they were taking these outside of the box shots, as you saw with Alex Morgan. But how about that one? Alex Morgan slips between the 2 center backs. She did that a few times throughout the first half. She's not happy. She says, come on, because she was clearly onside, back call by the ref, should have been rewarded for that run. And this was maybe the brightest look that Portland had. Sykes just dances through the mid and then the back line. But how about that save with Ashlyn Harris getting her foot to it, and then the cover in behind by Monica.
Still, you can see the stats playing out in favor of the Pride. 12 shots to just 4 for Portland. They've had more of the possession, but nobody getting on the scoreboard just yet. Plenty at stake here as the second half is just a few moments away. No score so far between Orlando and Portland. You're watching the NWSL on Lifetime.
I wish I could ask you, how was your day? We may be different, but also the same. Close we could be, just you and me. together and feel the love.
We'll see if anybody can break through in this second half. It's deadlocked at 0 between the Orlando Pride, the Portland Thorns. Camilla has been moved up into the midfield where she's spent a lot of time this season, also been on the back line. Morgan had a few dangerous moments in that first half. And now let's go down to Dallin, who's with Portland head coach Mark Parsons.
Thanks, Jen. Mark, you told us earlier in the week you weren't really sure what's going to happen here in the first 45, 30 minutes coming off this international break. What needs to happen in the second 45 for you guys to get a result?
Yeah, I think they've done really well with their high pressure, and as a result of that, they had a really high back line and we didn't identify it. So I think what we talked about is there's going to be 2 or 3 different things they'll do, and if they are pressing, the space is there. If they're not, we've got to create some more overloads in the areas we normally do to get the ball into the final third, and like we did the last 5, we created a couple of really good opportunities by doing that.
Thanks a lot, appreciate it.
I think it's a fair assessment by Parsons in that space that was in behind. But one thing they weren't doing well was connecting when they were winning the ball from Orlando, and that's part of jump-starting, breaking that pressure that Orlando wants to put you under. It's that first ball when you win it. Can you then break the lines, and that will launch your attack, and you can create those overloads.
Allie Long back in the starting lineup for the Thorns. No Amandine Henry so far. The French international, just Mark Parsons saying he was going to be cautious with her. But in a sense, it's one of the good problems that he has. He told us he really has a pool of about 4 really good midfielders for 3 spots in there. So certainly wonderful option to have Allie Long in there.
I don't know that we've seen enough of her today yet. They just haven't been able to hold the ball to find her in some space.
Ball up ahead quickly that time to Morgan, who our referee Christopher Spivey is going to say actually committed the foul. Reminder what's at stake in this one. The Orlando Pride, one of 3 teams, along with Chicago and Seattle, fighting for 2 remaining playoff spots in the National Women's Soccer League. A win in either one of their final 2 games for Orlando gets them into the playoffs. They'll travel to first place North Carolina for their regular season finale next week.
Yeah, but you know they want to get the result today.
No question. Do it at home.
Take that pressure off that last season match.
And for Portland, they know they're hosting. They're one of the top 2 teams to have a chance to earn that regular season title. There's a foul in midfield. Portland were the Shield winners for the first time last season.
That was so well done by Emily Sonnet because 4 players from Orlando were pushed in pressing, and she beat that whole line because there's a ton of space in behind with just 1 touch, took them out of the play, and then eventually was fouled.
Marta will collect it for Orlando. As pressured by Sykes, who took it away, had the best chance of the first half, did Sykes for Portland. And she just forced her way into the area and forced Ashlyn Harris into an acrobatic kick save. Lindsay Horan, the most fouled player in the National Women's Soccer League, had a collision with Marta there, but no whistle. A little high five after the fact. Camilla ran into a wall, called Allie Long. Great run by Rasso, but offside flag goes up. Portland had a tough break in the first half with an Alex Morgan run that was called offside, that upon review was questionable at best.
And she is, in fact, a step off. Nicely weighted pass, but just like Franch has to be ready to pounce off that line, Ashlyn Harris does. She read that one well. Even if she was onside, Ashlyn Harris had it covered.
U.S. national team coach Jill Ellis telling us that she thought Portland really found its way into the match in the first half, and they've got a terrific option who is finally healthy, and expect to see Tobin Heath in the second half of this one. Just made a return with the U.S. national team on Tuesday, played just over 15 minutes against New Zealand. She's been out dealing with that back injury, hadn't appeared for the U.S. since March. Morgan, can she get there? Not quite. But what a piece that is to add into this Portland Thorns attack, Allie. In Tobin Heath, the player who's not been able to play at all in the NWSL this season, but last year, member of the best 11 and all-time leader in assists for this Portland team, had a record 10 to lead the NWSL last season. And Catley was slow to get up here for Orlando.
Well, that's a piece to these matches, is keeping everyone healthy. And as you said, it getting Heath minutes because she hasn't been healthy. And how do you integrate her into this process? As we see Jasmine Spencer come on for Catley, see what that shifts around. It looks like Bogagu might be going to the left back spot, and Spencer's going out to that right wing spot.
Now Dallin may be able to shed a little light on this. He's down between the benches. Dallin?
Yeah, Jen, the staff just asked her if she wanted to come out. She shook her head no, but then Tom Sermani just said to his assistants, she's not running correctly. We're taking her out. And that was pretty much the end of it. Remember, she went 90 minutes in both games of those friendlies in Australia and just got back. A lot of stress on her body.
Thanks so much, Dallin. As the coach, you can't always do what the player wants. You have to do what the player needs.
Sometimes as a player, you just push it.
Out of contact, and now finally the whistle is blown. It'll be Orlando ball. And Catley is just going to make her way right to the locker room to get checked out. Bogagu has played in that back line earlier this season for Orlando, one of those players who brings some versatility, but now Krieger lining up the set piece. She plays short. Camilla. Camilla is still on the ball. That goes out, will be a goal kick. Sluggish start to the second half.
And I think coming into this game with Camilla going into the midfield spot, we expected to see more of her breaking the lines and open things up for the front runners. Haven't seen that yet.
Just the second meeting of the season between these two teams, who met in the season opener out in Portland. Thorns winning that one 2-0. That was pre-Marta, pre-Morgan, as Spencer making her presence felt, trying to set up Alex Morgan. The Orlando Pride, just their second season in the NWSL, have never beaten this Portland Thorns team. Portland 3-0 all time. What a big step it would be for this Orlando team to make it into the playoffs in its second year in the league. Make a little history, as last year finished in 9th place.
Let's not forget, Jen, they started the season off incredibly slow. They were sitting at the bottom of the table, but they stuck with their style of play and their commitment to build, to not be as direct, and now they're reaping the rewards of it, because you can see they can play direct with their pace, with Marta, with Morgan up top, but they're so patient in their attack, as we're seeing their possession here and just dictating tempo. Now they have to translate that to final third production.
Just one win in the first 6 matches for Orlando to start this season. They didn't make their way into the top 4 until week 16. But boy, have they been playing well. Spencer. Morgan tried to stretch for it, and now will try to earn her team a corner. Not going to get it.
And it's not that Orlando can't get in centrally on Portland. They could very easily find the back of the net that way. But the space is on the flanks. Here's that last one with Morgan trying to win the corner kick, doesn't get it, but the space is on the flanks. Bogogu came inside exactly where Portland wants her to go, and she had Edmonds getting around the edge. They've got to use that width more in the attacking third.
Mangus couldn't keep it for Portland. Here's Marta. Marta's been more of a setup role so far in this match for Orlando. Haven't seen her get on the finishing end of too many dangerous balls. Long little combination play there with Sonnet to keep it away from Morgan. Now the Thorns building. Here's Nadim. She cuts it back in. Rasso is there. Haley Rasso goes down. And there is a whistle. It looks like the foul is against Rasso in Portland.
At first glance, that looked like a dangerous tackle by Rasso. I know she's trying to make a play on the ball. Nicely weighted pass by Nadia Nadim. And she just full-on swipes out the legs of a Bogogu on this one. That's dangerous. That is a dangerous play there by Rasso. I know she likes to mix it up, but you can't even see the ref.
Probably a little bit of a desperation, sensing she had a great opportunity there in front of goal and then wanting to try to finish it off. Perhaps have the ref see things a little differently than they actually were, but good call. Rasso on it here. Krieger step for step. And this time Rasso's going to get the yellow as she fouls Krieger. She's already missed one match for yellow card accumulation this season. And now I take it back. Let's see where this yellow goes. Thought it was on Rasso. Is it Krieger?
I don't know if he's carding anyone. He was reaching for his back pocket when he was running over, but he wisely may have kept that one in.
Hey man, don't flash the yellow unless you're holding it up for somebody. Let's see what happened on the play.
Just two players going for the ball. Looks like Krieger has the better position.
Well, as far as we know, no yellow card given, and it will be a Portland free kick, so there you go.
Ross is wide open on the near side if they opt to use her.
Klingenberg, a beautifully bent ball. A lot of whistles, very choppy couple of minutes here with some fouls.
And in that last attack, Jen, by Portland, you talked about Allie Long. She played a nice 1-2 and then sprung on that far side. Much better tempo to solve the pressure that Orlando was putting them under. They didn't slow it down. They beat that first wave, and that's why they had some joy getting in behind.
Christopher Spivey telling Ashlyn Harris to keep backing it up. She's pointing to the assistant referee and saying, well, I'm in line with where she is. And now it's out of bounds. Portland ball. Odd sequence the last couple of minutes. Both of these teams so beautiful when they get in rhythm, and looking for some more moments of that in this second half. Tough to come by so far. That long ball, Allie, when Portland is trying to get it up over that back line, they're bypassing Christine Sinclair. Just saw her in the vicinity of the ball and realized she really hasn't been on it too much in this one.
Well, they haven't found her at all. And I can see why they're trying to play it over the back line, because Orlando is playing such a high line. They're squeezing the game. They're trying to soften it up to create the space for underneath, but get your head up, because she has been in pockets of space. It's not going to be perfect, but she's capable of handling someone on her back. Don't be afraid to play her in those gaps.
Sinclair picked up her 8th goal of the season. It was a game winner in Thorns' last game at Boston. And that was a match, admittedly, Mark Parsons said his team didn't feel they played very well. Even though their record would tell you that they're coming down the stretch, have won 8 of their last 9. You still want to make sure you're playing your best soccer as you get to the postseason.
Well, I think he's been a bit critically harsh on his team. Even the 2 games ago that we had him on, I thought Portland looked very good for spells of the game. But this is a team that has been very stingy defensively, and that's why they find themselves in this position with already having clinched a playoff spot.
Tom Sermani had a good comment about that. He said Portland, because their defense is so good, they find a way to win matches where they have to play gritty, and it might not always be as pretty as they want, but they find a way to win. He said that's something that we need to do a little better of. And now, Allie, what might this change here bring to this Portland attack?
Well, when you're bringing in Amandine Henry, the French international, and Tobin Heath, the U.S. international, in the 60th minute, that is a luxury a lot of coaches and players would love to have. But I thought Allie Long had a good spell there in the second half. Didn't see much of her in the first. Not in AD, not as impactful as you'd like to see in that wing role. But Tobin coming on now, you have a whole different element in the way you can play, because she can solve it with the ball at her feet. We'll see if they continue to play so direct or if this changes.
As you just saw, Tobin Heath making her 2017 NWSL debut here in the second to last week of the regular season. Grasso, that ball just kind of kept carrying, but no problem for Ashlyn Harris. Morgan trying to set up Spencer, not a bad idea. Here is Tobin Heath. So dangerous on the ball, trying to get it to Sinclair. Christine Sinclair breaking through. I think she is either about that whistle.
I can read lips on that one. She's clearly not happy, but that all starts with Tobin Heath's initial movement. She had pulled away, pushing that back line back, and then she pulled off into the midfield to get the ball at her feet, and she's the one who slipped Sinclair in, and then Sinclair knows she can't get there. The competitiveness takes hold, and she fights her way.
Love that camera angle. Well done, everybody on our crew, to show you that, because you could see that little swim move, little hook by Sinclair. Maybe not as innocent as she led us to believe at first. But how interesting that Tobin Heath's first touch finds Christine Sinclair, a player who we just finished saying hasn't had the ball very much.
And I still go back to Tobin's movement. She was pushing the line back, and then she pulls off and gets it at her feet. You didn't see that from Nadia Nadim. You toy with defenders and create that space for yourself. It's an element that she's so sophisticated in and often overlooked.
Free kick coming here now for Orlando, and gosh, with the rate that fouls are occurring, you wonder if they could be the different set pieces in this match. Obogagu and Morgan, both their hands in the air a little bit, realizing it may have been on, but the ball was not. Well, we showed you Steph Catley going off for Orlando a little bit earlier. Dallin, you've got an update on the Australian.
Yeah, talking to Orlando's assistant trainer, she's out just for precautionary reasons. Knee pain is the diagnosis, just for precautionary reasons, given the fact, again, she came back from Australia and 180 minutes played in those 2 matches. They want to be sure that she's ready to go for these upcoming games.
Thank you, Dallin. Catley's certainly an important part of this Orlando team this season.
Well, they hope upcoming games, right? I mean, you may only have one more if you don't get a result.
And that one more for Orlando, if that is what happens, is at North Carolina. Grasso trying to combine with Sykes. Two Australians have it broken up by Abogugu.
How about Abogugu just going seamlessly from the front line to the back line, and doesn't look like she skipped a beat.
Reynolds to take this throw for Portland. Trying to pick out her end. Sykes fouled after the play, so it'll be a free kick.
And this is from one of those spots that we've seen Portland score from multiple times this season. You said it earlier, Jen, that set pieces may be the difference maker. The game's getting very choppy.
Portland has scored 14 goals off of set pieces this season. That is more than any other team in the league. Orlando, by the way, has given up 11 goals off set pieces. That is the third most.
This is going to be an in-swinger on to Harris with early runners.
The Thorns fight to get it back. The shot by Henry off target, though.
On this first service, doesn't get over that near post defender. Camilla's trying to dribble out of pressure, and Rasso wins it. Heath slips it, gets her head up.
Now Heath in the middle of the mix once again as Klingenberg comes up in support. Offside for the Thorns. I think you see frustration on the faces of players on both teams at the moment. Just nobody really able to get the rhythm and the control of this match that they'd like. They may have to win it ugly. Morgan touches it to Spencer. Jasmine Spencer in the box. Two defenders around her.
Jen, when the tempo is of this pace and it's choppy, it takes players to make simple decisions, to calm things down, to connect, to get that rhythm back, and to not force the issue. Something for young players to keep an eye on is the big picture, the tempo of a match. What is the game asking of you? And then executing that.
Kennedy to Morgan, a very tight space, and she is fouled.
And that's just an example of what I mean. It's tight in there. Probably not the best idea to spin. They do earn the free kick. But play the way you're facing. Solve pressure collectively with simple passes if you can to pick up the tempo. And you see the battle as Morgan faced up and Sonnet just pushes her down. Clear foul.
So now it'll be the Pride's turn with a dangerous location for the set piece.
French wants three in the wall from that distance to cover her near post.
Two Brazilians standing over it. It'll be Camilla. Not close. No, she's claiming it was touched, and the referee will agree, so it will be a corner kick here for the Pride. First of the second half, third of the match for Orlando. Not a lot of corner kicks for either team in the first half. Two for the Pride, just one for Portland.
Again, I go back to the fact that they're just not getting around the edge. They're not forcing that issue.
Camilla has 5 assists on the season for Orlando. Keeps this one away from French. And Heath will get to it first for Portland. Rasso breaking free out of the pack. Now Harris is going to come all the way out to cover that. Confusion on the field, a lot of whistles in the second half.
Yeah, but the ref did a nice job on this because he waited to see if Rasso was going to get there. When Harris made the play is when he called the foul, but that ball laid in for Rasso was played by Tobin Heath with the right outside of her foot, just curled into space. I mean, we talk about an impact, it's subtle, it's nuanced. People might not necessarily notice it, but that's what she can bring to a team, and now suddenly Portland's on the offensive end, not trying to dig a ball out of their back.
Kristen Edmonds did receive a yellow card. And now Sonnet will take the kick for Portland. Sinclair flicked it, but right to Harris. Reynolds and Sykes trying to find an outlet. Henry. Goo. Morgan not up there that time, though Marta was. Still, the Pride have not had much success. Get that ball up over the top. Portland Thorns defense, one of the best in the league, been up to the challenge.
Nice distribution out of the back by France. She's the one who finds Heath, and then you just see again Heath settling play. And here comes Portland.
They'll try to get it back up to Heath after some lovely combination, and the offside flag will give us a moment to go down to Dallin Cuff, who's with a very special guest.
Thanks, Jen, alongside Grant Hill, collegiate and pro basketball legend. But we're here at a women's soccer game. You're a big fan of Orlando Pride, I should say. Why is that?
Well, I have two daughters. My 10-year-old plays soccer for Orlando City, the grassroots, so I try to bring her out here as much as I can. We have season tickets, and sorry, Orlando City. We're Orlando Pride fans, and so we come to a lot of games. And this game obviously means a lot with the playoff implications that are out there.
And now, in terms of yourself, have you always been a fan of soccer? Is there something that your daughters kind of got you into, or vice versa?
No, I played soccer growing up, so I was a big soccer fan. And I played till I was in high school, and I realized I wasn't as good as I thought I was. So I stuck to basketball, but I'm glad my daughter loves it. And it's a great event. We come out, it's a great stadium. They got a great product and a great team. You know, actually Morgan and Marta and the stars they have. So it's been a lot of fun. We've enjoyed it, and we're hopeful to get into the playoffs here with the Orlando Pride.
We've got about 25 minutes. They get a win. They could get that done. Last question for you. When you think about the community, though, that's built around this club and this team, how unique is that in your mind, and how quickly it's happened?
You know, it's amazing. I mean, a new product, a new league coming in, both the men and the women. There's a lot of excitement here in Orlando. They're starved for soccer, and so it's been great to support. We want to get the women's a little bit more excited. Orlando City obviously sells out, but the Pride has been really, really special. Great young ladies, great ambassadors for the game.
Thanks a lot. Championship will be here in a couple weeks. We appreciate it, Grant.
All right, can we sign him up as the official spokesman of the league? Smart man, Mr. Grant Hill.
Wonderful to hear from him, the 7-time NBA All-Star. Played part of his NBA career here in Orlando. Also won 2 NCAA championships with Duke, and just wonderful to hear that support, hear how his daughters helped bring him back to a game that he loved. And I think he probably made the right choice, sticking with basketball.
Yeah, but I still selfishly wish he would have chosen soccer.
Well, he chose it now. That's what counts.
Absolutely.
Does Marta have a moment of magic in her back pocket here? That left foot so lethal. And she will bend it. France had to stay home. Oh, the setup was there.
And I don't think she could have served a better ball. That's exactly where you want to land it if you're going to whip an outswinger in for your team to get on the end. And that's Monica, who's going toe-to-toe with Mangus, and Mangus gets the better of the ball.
It does result in a corner, so Marta will line it up from the corner flag now on the far side. Head-in swinger again with the left foot. Contact before the play, so Portland ball.
And some nice set piece work here, and that's what the ref called. I don't think that was an intentional anything, just a little movement off of her fake.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve comment until I can get a better look at it, because I love the move from Morgan, and you're right, if there was contact there, I do believe it was pretty unintentional. But if it's up to the head, you know, it's up to the referee to call that. Obviously have to be very cautious with any type of contact above the shoulders, as they should be. Horan trying to spring Rasso. You gotta love the speed of a Bogagoo. She may not have a ton of experience as a defender, but doing well in that role today since she's moved back there.
I mean, that was fantastic. The calmness to bring that down with that left foot. The U.S. needs a left back, I think.
Sinclair looking for Heath. Well, we do know Jill Ellis is here watching.
Or at least more options, I should say.
Yes. Time ticking away. The Pride, there's so much in front of them and at stake in this match. Sykes sends it across. Remember, Portland is already in the playoffs. All they really lose is a chance to better their positioning for the Shield, but North Carolina still with 3 games to play. They have a game in hand. Orlando, though, need to win to guarantee they're in. Heath, a change of speed there from Tobin Heath, and the crowd booing as Orlando has a player down, and Christopher Spivey will come check it out.
And it looks like Henri just catches Morgan there again from behind. A lot of late challenges from behind today. Both teams guilty.
And well, the top priority teams will tell you, certainly they want to be playing well heading down the stretch. Priority 1A, or maybe even really 1, is to stay healthy. Keep your valuable pieces intact. We've already seen Steph Catley come off, told from Dallin that was mostly precautionary, especially after she had those 2 matches for Australia where she went the distance. You really don't want to see number 13 hobbled out there, not as well as she's been playing. Orlando currently tied with the Chicago Red Stars, 36 points. You see the North Carolina Courage, Portland Thorns. It'll be those 2 teams 1-2 in some order, and then the Seattle Reign, the 3rd team in contention for those final 2 playoff spots. It's all going to come down to these final 2 weeks.
That's what you would expect in a league where anyone can win on any given day.
Second change of the match coming for Orlando is Kristen Edmonds, who had been dealing with somewhat of a calf strain. Comes off in this one, and Toni Presley makes her way back onto the field. Just 2 appearances off the bench over the last 6 matches for Presley, someone who had been starting, 13 starts throughout the season. And Tom Sermani would tell you, just one of those players that sort of got lost a little bit with the depth of talent he has on this team.
And it looks like she's going to the left back position, which now bumps a Bogagoo back up top, and Camilla goes over to that right back spot. But I would think that with Edmonds coming out, it's more of a management situation of returning from that injury.
But interesting to see how the pieces shuffle.
And the versatility that Orlando's side has. That's a luxury that a lot of teams don't have, to be able to move pieces around on the pitch without making massive substitutions.
Marta will continue to apply some pressure here. French calmly clears it away. Allie, if you're Orlando, how hard do you really push here? I mean, obviously you're wanting to play your best the whole time, but to try to get it done right here on your home field and make that last week of the regular season a little less pressure packed.
I think it has to be a priority. You said it, you're on your home field, the game's within reach, it's 0-0, you can get that result. I think what they need to do now at this late stage, the 79th, 80th minute here, is go back to that pressure that they were putting that back line under. You just saw it with Marta putting French under pressure. Go back to that press and see if Portland can handle it. Maybe the game's a little different with Heath on the field, but feel it out in that regard.
And that is 3 times we've seen Alex Morgan go to the ground, probably in the last 10 minutes here, 2 within the last couple of minutes.
And it's smart from a Portland standpoint. You don't want to get her running at your back line. You know she's probably going to lay it and spin, so you impede her progress immediately.
Well, she was left open on that free kick. She does flick it on.
Got to give her a ball she can play with. Very difficult to handle that one.
Camilla wins it on the far side. Lots of numbers in for Orlando. Spencer goes sliding for it. It will be a corner kick. Shot still heavily in favor of the Pride in this one, 13-5.
And their best chance is coming off a flank service when they do get around the edge, as in that last one. And now they've got another set piece. They've opted to play short a few times, but I think the service into the box with Marta on it is the best way to go.
And remember, it was just a little move by Alex Morgan that caused a foul to be called the last chance. Francis come out for it. She punches it. There's Presley. Wins it, sends it in, but Franch is there. Adriana Franch, so explosive. Had a great conversation with her this week. Talked about her work with Nadine Angerer, goalkeeper coach, former FIFA World Player of the Year for Germany and former Portland Thorn. And this ball, just a little bit of who wants it. The best position to put Franch in there, but she handles it. Heath. What a touch, back to Haran, who's upended.
You can hear Parsons screaming from all the way up here.
Sonnet, great play to break up any kind of counterattack the other direction. And not sure you can really see it, but the rain is starting to pick up a little bit out here. It did rain pretty heavily about an hour before kickoff, but it held off since then. Players probably welcome the drop in temperature and cloud cover.
And this is where, again, you have to be aware of your environmental factors, and those outside of the box shots are a better option now. You might get a lucky deflection, a spill from the goalkeeper, all things to keep in mind.
Morgan and Marta. Haran giving chase. Trying to shoulder Marta off the ball. And does. Rasso upset with herself, putting that one out of bounds.
And sometimes this happens with Orlando. When Marta gets on the ball, players stop moving and they're watching her and not giving her an option. That happened in that last attack.
Jasmine Spencer trying to split the defense and get there. That's Sonnet seeing her goalkeeper come through. remember that in Orlando's last match before the break against Seattle, no goals was scored until stoppage time. This one will go back to France as well. Alex Morgan scored first, and then Seattle came right back and evened things up. So that one ended in a 1-1 draw, but I think a lot of people a little surprised with those two teams, two of the top scoring in the National Women's Soccer League. No score in regulation, so this high-powered Orlando attack that had been clicking so well, struggling their last couple of matches.
And sometimes it's about your opponent figuring you out and where you are lethal. Portland knew that they had to protect the space behind their back line today, and they've done a pretty good job of it, minus that one attack that was called offside that wasn't.
Spencer could not get past Emily Menges, despite her best efforts. And now Tobin Heath. We don't want to see number 17 with that much space initially. She goes back to her left foot. Tobin Heath still going. Taking her time, but then out of bounds.
How about the insertion of Tobin Heath into this match and how it's changed the tides in favor of Portland? Here she gets going 1v1 at Monica, just blows by her with that skill. The whole time she knows she's gonna cut it against that front leading leg of Monica, and she just sets it up, times it perfectly, and then tries to do too much because she didn't have a great option in the box. I can't fault her for trying to cut it back. It just didn't come off.
And understand that if all goes well, minutes are only going to go up for Tobin Heath. Mark Parsons knew she'd be pretty limited, talked to the U.S. training staff about what they thought she'd be capable of, and told them about 20 minutes probably today. And then his hope, though, by the time the Thorns are in Providence Park hosting that semifinal match, they could have number 17 available in the starting lineup.
And what a gift that would be for them, because as I said, she changes the way they can play.
I think we've seen that on display off the bench here today. Under 5 minutes to play in this match, plus stoppage time. Frustration and fouls, most of the story of the second half for both teams.
And sometimes when you're seeing a lot of this contact as you are here, it's the service that's going into your player. That's not a great ball into Sinclair in that gap. Yes, she can usually hold players off, but it's a 50-50 ball. And then the foul is drawn. Better decisions.
Chance perhaps for Marta. To Morgan. Alex Morgan trying to get around the defense. Boy, there was a lot of contact there. The referee saying play on.
And I think he's calling advantage, because why put the ball on the ground if France has it in her hands? Because that was a clear foul from up here, at least, by Morgan. But you can see what Orlando, what it means to them to try to push to get the result in these battles that are going on the field 1v1.
Seeing the strikers for both teams now guilty of a little extra contact in the area when they're trying to get to goal. Rasso on the other end for Portland, and then the play from Morgan.
And a good reaction by Sonnet to get body position there, and then Alex Morgan pulls her down as she's going to ground.
Now Morgan's still talking with the referee now at the center of the field.
And frustration, I think, from her, because she's been fouled time and time again unnecessarily as well, so things heating up.
Presley will play it back to Harris. Sonnet to that far corner. Ashlyn told us she felt like her distribution with her leg, probably the last thing to come back from that quadricep injury that kept her out for 11 matches. Rasso still down.
And I go back to make the simple pass. Both teams just squandering possession in this middle third right now.
Horan. Now Heath. Little flick up to Sinclair. Oh, the first touch. Not a Christine Sinclair-esque touch.
Oh, but it was this simple ball into Heath in that seam in front of the back line. And then she doesn't have to play simple.
No. And then she does her magic.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, what a ball. And normally that is the type of ball you not only imagine but expect to see Christine Sinclair brought down, Canada's all-time leading scorer and one of the best all-time in the NWSL. "31 goals in Christine Sinclair's Portland Thorns career, including 8 this season. Here is Heath, sees Klingenberg, sees Rasso making a crisscrossing run in the middle. So did Krieger. Yep, offside, will go up. Klingenberg knew it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated
3 minutes of stoppage time added on. Just 2 games left in the regular season for most teams. North Carolina and Houston having that extra one on Wednesday. And a reminder, the NWSL Championship match is going to be right here in Orlando City Stadium, October 14th. Oh, you know the Pride would love the opportunity to play for championship on their home field, but they just have to get into the playoffs first. And the Portland Thorns will host a semifinal match. Hope to make up for that heart-wrenching, dramatic loss on their home field at Providence Park in the semifinals last year. This one given away to Marta. Morgan, Alex Morgan's shot, not on target. She's claiming it was touched, and it'll be a goal kick.
And here's a look at Morgan. She's falling away from the goal, but it's on her favored left foot. Right decision there.
Oh, even Rasso, who Mark Parsons calls his road runner, might be running out of gas just a little bit here in stoppage time. Rasso is also with the Australian national team in Australia for those 2 wins against Brazil. Sam Kerr kept up what Sam Kerr's been doing all season long. Give us a moment to...
but hey, FIFA, don't recognize it.
Mention the omission from the FIFA shortlist for the FIFA Women's World Player of the Year. Dana Castellanos from Venezuela, Carly Lloyd, and Lika Martens from the Netherlands, the 3 to make it. Many outraged, I think would be the word, that Sam Kerr not amongst those 3. Marta looking up, sees Spencer. Reynolds will play up, it's Spencer trying to get around her to it. Does get the deflection. And it'll be Portland ball. Jasmine Spencer just pushing here, trying to get something for this Orlando Pride team.
And she was the only one going. I keep expecting a late flurry, a late push here by Orlando, but they look gassed. Spencer was the only one to chase that down. No support in behind, but here's an opportunity to pin Portland in their own defensive third.
Just about everybody up for Orlando, as you would imagine, to do just that. And Orlando gets the throw.
And there's got to be a calm sense of urgency from Orlando.
Morgan got her head to it, but nothing else beyond that. Marta will try to charge and get to that ball. How about that push from the 5-time FIFA World Player of the Year? Speaking of the Player of the Year shortlist. But it won't be enough. That's going to call the end of this one. 0-0 draw between these two teams. Looked like there'd be a few more seconds left there, a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time, but that will be the final. So Orlando Alley not able to get it done. Still alive, of course. They'll go to North Carolina next week and try to secure that playoff spot.
Well, that builds the suspense for us going into that last spell of games. But I thought Orlando had a strong performance. They created opportunities. I don't know that they utilized the width as well as they should have, but we'll hear what the players have to say about it.
Yeah, Alex Morgan at the moment is standing by with Dallin.
Thanks, Jen. Alex, you guys came into this game. You knew if you win, you would go through. You end with the draw. What are your immediate reactions to that?
Obviously we wanted to win. I think we got majority of the shots. I think we outplayed them most of the time, except for a couple of times in the second half. We were unlucky a bit, but at the same time, we got a clean sheet. We got a draw, so it just inches us even more into that playoff position.
You guys are coming off a great run. You've been 5 of the last 6. You've won the game unbeaten in those last 6, unbeaten in 7, but you were coming off an international break. How difficult was that to turn it back into the club atmosphere you guys had built?
I think everyone was really excited to play, to come back in and play. We knew it was going to be a big game against Portland. Obviously, having our last season home game here, we had a huge crowd, so I don't think it was that difficult. Portland's a quality team, so I think we gave them a good matchup, and it'll be interesting if we see them in the next couple weeks.
You told us earlier in this week, this team is special, and you've played on teams that have won World Cups. What makes this team unique and this club unique?
Everyone just wants it so bad. I feel like also a lot of people have played for Tom in the past on the national team level, and then everyone just respects him so much. We have a great coaching staff. Everything's just really fluid with this team, and everyone's invested. So you saw the heart we had today, and we're going to continue to fight.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
A lot of good stuff there from Alex Morgan. By the way, in this 0-0 draw, Adriana Franch collects her 11th shutout of the season. That sets the NWSL single season record. She just continues this tough defense that Portland has had all season long. While on the Orlando side of things defensively, Allie Krieger has been so key all season long, and now she's with Dallin.
Thanks, Jen. Allie, you've been experienced in a lot of big games at the international level and the club level. What did this game feel like down the stretch? It had a real tense atmosphere.
Yeah, it was. It was a great competition. Both teams had a lot of possession. It's really fun when both teams try to play football, and try to play 1-2 touch. And I think the transition game was a bit tough because once we lost it, they were just right down our back. So we had to be prepared for that. But I think we just have to be better in the final third and clean up a few things. We get really excited in the final third and want to kind of rush things when I think we can take time and still combine. And I think that it was a great game, great matchup. I was just thinking about it. Hopefully we'll see them in the final, not in the semis. But great game today. It's really fun to play against, some of the best teams in the league at this stage. And I think we did really well with what we had to deal with today.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
It was a hard-fought match, one that in the end, neither team could find a way to come away with a full 3 points. Franch gets her 11th shutout of the season, but zeros on the scoreboard as this one ends 0-0 between Orlando and Portland.
We drove up a really long driveway to a property that was hidden from the road. It was so hot. It was overwhelming to see how many animals there were, as well as the conditions they were in. Puppies tied up to chains. It was 100 degrees and there was nothing for them to drink. It was terrible.
Summer is a time when thousands of animals suffer in sweltering heat. Many of these animals have been left for dead, and we need your help to rescue them.
They were skin and bones. They had no food, no water, with no help in sight.
Go online or call right now with your $19 monthly gift. Many of these animals are almost out of time.
You know that there's so many others out there, and you think, had we gotten here 1 week earlier, could we have saved more animals?
We need 2,000 new donors in the next 30 days so that we can reach more animals who need our help. Visit joinaspca.org on any device or call this number now. Sign up for only 63 cents a day, and we'll send you this free membership kit, including a magazine subscription. Join in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also get this limited edition Animal Champion t-shirt.
To see it up close and know that that's how people treat animals is heartbreaking.
Please help save animals' lives this summer. Go online or call now.
Clear Eyes believes every time you open your eyes, it's your moment to shine. Clear Eyes moisturizes for up to 12 hours of soothing comfort. Trust the #1 eye drop and make the most of your moment. Clear Eyes. Let them see you shine.
I love it. The Portland fans saying they're saving their seats for the Riveters when they come back here for the NWSL Championship game, hoping their Thorns team will be in that match. Well, we told you Adriana Franch, another fantastic performance from her to get the 11th shutout of the season. She's with Dallin.
Thanks, Jen. Adriana, you've now set a record, single season record for shutouts in this league. What does that mean to you?
It's an honor, but I know I have that back line to thank. They put in a lot of hard work. Orlando has the threats in behind and front, and we had to take care of it as a team. And we were solid back there tonight, and that shutout goes to the whole team.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Very humble as always. But now, in terms of your improvement though this year individually, what do you think your game has gone to in the next level this season?
It just continues to climb. Like you said, there's definitely been progression, and I have Nadine Unger on me every day, so it doesn't stop here. It continues into our next home game. The end of the regular season, and then into playoffs. Just got to keep climbing.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
How can you not support that woman there? Such a great attitude, and all credit to her today. Here's a look at Morgan just trying to get one over her. I think she might have been lucky on that one that she was off her line. Morgan trying to chip her, but overall, dominating performance by her in that back line to keep this Orlando team at bay and not allow them to find the back of the net.
Orlando coming in as the highest scoring team in the league. They're going to have to just take the 1 point out of this one, which you can see at the moment puts them a point ahead of the Chicago Red Stars, who will play tonight against Houston. That one at 8:30 Eastern.
And Alex mentioned it too. They're just inching their way into that playoff spot by not picking up those 30 points, but still positive movement from them.
So there you see the top 4 teams will make the NWSL playoffs. Seattle trying to get into that group of top 4 as well. It's all going to be decided here in these last couple of weeks in the NWSL regular season. We will head out to Portland next week for that one between Chicago and the Thorns. That should be a great one as well.
And selfishly, I don't want them to get a result tonight, so that even has more meaning next week. But they face off against Houston, and again, they have a strong ability to get the 3 points.
Well, we'll be back with more here from Orlando in just a few moments. Our final 0-0. Well, welcome back. No score in this one between the Orlando Pride and the Portland Thorns, as the Pride had a chance to book themselves a ticket into the playoffs. Couldn't do it yet. And a reminder that tickets to the 2017 NWSL Championship are currently on sale with prices starting at $20. The championship will be held right here at the Orlando City Stadium at 4:30 Eastern, 3 weeks from today on Saturday, October 14th, and will be broadcast live right here on Lifetime. For more information, log on to nwslchampionship.com. So here's what else is going on around the NWSL this weekend. Obviously, Allie, you want to pay close attention to those teams in contention for the playoffs. 8:30 Houston, Chicago, and then tomorrow North Carolina and Seattle in action.
Yeah, and I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I think Chicago has the clearest path to clinching a playoff spot facing that Houston Dash team. That it doesn't have anything to play for. They're going to be without Carly Lloyd, but they still have to get it done. And we'll see. I like the fact that after these games, you're going to have North Carolina playing Orlando and Chicago, Portland next week. Those are potential rematches if those 4 teams find themselves in the playoffs.
There are a lot of great matches down the stretch as we head into what next week will be the final week of the regular season. Just getting you set for the NWSL playoffs. We'll have more here from Orlando after the break. Fans across the country recognizing what a great game this is, including MVP fans like Grant Hill, whose daughters love soccer. He was here to take it in, but Allie, kind of a disappointing finish, I think, between these two teams.
I expected more goals, but I think that was naive. You had the league's best offense against the league's best defense.
Well, we'll get a chance to see that best defense again next week as the NWSL on Lifetime continues on Saturday in the final weekend of the 2017 regular season as Christine Sinclair and the Thorns host U.S. national team superstar Julie Ertz. How fantastic was she against New Zealand and the Chicago Red Stars in what could be a must-win for Chicago to make the playoffs. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. But our final score here from Orlando wound up with zeros on the scoreboard. Nobody could break through in this one. Chicago will try to win to get in. Orlando couldn't do it in this one. 0-0 our final, as we'll have to just wait and see for those final four teams and the final matchups in the NWSL playoffs, which we will have for you right here on Lifetime. Hope you can join us next week out in Providence Park. It'll be a great atmosphere. Playoff spots on the line. For Allie and Dallin, I'm Jen saying so long.